Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new release from Cretaceous Creations. If you can recall, maybe about a month or so ago, I did review quite a few of their figures. Well, they've got new ones out, and I also have more of the ones that were out previously to take a look at with you guys. As you can see, we have the Jurassic World Rebirth Velociraptors. We have both different variants because there are two variants in the film. Well, kind of. There were originally two variants created, but you actually don't see one, I don't believe, unless you see the deleted scene, because this one here shows up at the ending. There was a scene with the Velociraptors kind of right before the Mutodons and stuff show up, and you do see this raptor, but we don't see this one earlier. There is, of course, that one scene where they are kind of sneaking up and the Mutodon flies down and takes the one away, and I don't think this one was in that. I think that was two of what I believe are the males, so that would be this one, and I think this is the female, potentially. Strange that we actually have the quills and the female in the new film, but it is what it is, unless that's just a male in a different color. I don't know exactly, but again, we finally have some love put toward those raptors. We did get a little love for them in the Mattel line, but it's nice to see actual love for this one specifically, because this one had none so far from anyone, and this one, in my opinion, is super underrated. Like, I really quite like the look of those raptors. The color scheme is really cool. You know, the Jurassic Park 3 kind of throwback with the quills is awesome. I just was hoping for so much more with the raptors in the film, and unfortunately we did not get much at all. But these figures look to pay tribute to those raptors really nicely, and I think, as always, Cretaceous Creations has done an excellent job. So let's go ahead, readjust the camera, and get a closer look. So starting with this one, which again is potentially the female, you have a really nice appearance to the head sculpt. Definitely looks angry, and I love how stylized these figures always are, but I love that they find a way to kind of put emotion into them. Like, you can genuinely see this one looking angry, almost snarling, which is really cool. And again, that chibi style is really cool. Again, a little Pop Funko-ish almost in certain aspects looking at these figures, but they look really neat. You can see the skin texture looks pretty nice, as we have a few kind of scales popping up here and there, but they continue to follow that kind of almost animated sort of a look and feel. We have a little creasing there around the eye. We also have a darker brown around the eye, a yellow eye. You also, on top of that, have a black that moves up and over the top of the head, and then also a few little spots of it kind of leading down, as we have sort of like a light gray right there, and then you see that light tone move down into the lower jaw as well. The mouth is open on this raptor, obviously. You can see it's coming in for potentially a kill. And even looking at it from the front, you can really see that kind of like perfect visual of a Jurassic Park or Jurassic World style raptor. They really nailed the look of the head sculpt of the raptor, but again, perfectly nailed that look in an, stylized sort of a way. Inside the mouth, we can see the tongue. I love that he's added a little extra variation of color to the inside of the mouth and the tongue area, just to kind of like take the figure from, looking again kind of like animated-ish or Pop Funko-ish, and still adding some realism. Like, the inside of the mouth has a nice, genuine, realistic look because they've applied like a red wash in there, and I think it looks fantastic. Same deal for the inside of the mouth on the upper side. And the teeth all look really good as well. They all have that kind of genuine, sharp look to them, which is also a massive plus. They are painted with what appears to be like a light gray. As you move up into the top of the head, you have the quills again sticking off of the back of the head right here. They are as well painted with a black. As you continue to move down through the raptor, you can see the dinosaur does have its head turning very strongly toward its left. You can kind of see like some creases as you move down. The spinal column as well following along the back of the dinosaur. As we lead down, we also have more of that black kind of leading down and patterning as we follow through the raptor and kind of striping down along the course of the dinosaur. Moving around here to the side, we've got the arms held into the body in a really nice natural way, pretty much as the raptors in the Jurassic franchise usually carry their arms, again kind of held up into the body like that. We transition to a brown, a different shade of brown, similar actually I would say to the brown that's in the eye socket area there. As you move down into the hands, you have some really nicely sculpted scoots down the fingers, and then again the claws painted with a black. We now just kind of flip-flop sides here, so you might as well take a look at this side. You can see a few kind of like osteoderms popping up here as you move back. As we continue to move along, you can see the leg kind of taking a step, kind of trailing on this side as the other leg is taking a step forward. You've got the really nicely sculpted foot there on the raptor, nice scoots down the toes. The claws, again, sculpted really nicely, painted with a black. They do have a genuine sharp look to them for sure. As we move over here to the other side, you can now see how this leg is taking a step forward. This foot actually looks like it's kind of coming down and landing on the ground at this point in time. You can get a really good look at the foot sculpt there of the raptor on this side as well. And yes, you do have dew claws, which are sculpted out and painted, which for some reason my camera's not focusing on, but you can see it on the other foot over there. And then you lead up and you've got a really nice tail sculpt, more of that black that leads out and disappears as you lead out. You've got a little curl there at the end of the tail for the raptor. And just like usual with these figures, you do have a really cool stand that kind of gives you the look of like broken sort of like stone or concrete. It is created in a grayish tone. And then on the underside, you can see Cretaceous Creations as well as Velociraptor right there. Then we've got the other one, which is definitely the more male-looking version. You can see, again, the sculpt of the head looks pretty much as the other one did, just very different as far as like the overall look of it because of the colors, as well as the fact that this one has the mouth in a closed position, which I like that he's painted the inside of the mouth with a black and, then painted the teeth to really help elaborate and make those teeth pop. They've also perfectly replicated the colors, in my opinion, of the Rebirth Raptor here, giving it the black moving over the top of the head, some of the light grays. You've even got like a light yellowish tone in there, some blue there around the eye. Actually, two different shades of blue. You've got a lighter blue here, a little bit of a darker blue in the actual eye socket. Then you've got a little red creeping in there from the top. And, of course, a yellow eye, which you can see has a nice gloss coat to it. So they did a really good job as far as all of that goes. You can even see the pink right there of the inside of the mouth where the skin would stretch when the mouth opens. So again, making sure that every area is covered when it comes to the paintwork. And again, the head sculpt of the raptor looks really nice. Also has a little bit of like a snarling or like a growling kind of a look. As you move up to the top of the head, more of those quills again coming off of the back of the head. Moving down, we start a striping effect that follows along the spinal column of the raptor. We also have a dark grayish tone of color. Well, I mean, kind of dark. It's not all that dark, but we continue to have the same style as far as the appearance goes. Again, with that chibi look, looking almost animated-ish as far as like the way that the overall skin texture is sculpted out. We have a few osteoderms and stuff popping up. You have that lighter tone following down along the underside of the raptor here, and I like the way that he's painted that out as well. As we move down, of course, just like with the other one, the arms are held into the body in a nice natural way. You have some more nice detail as you move down through the arm, a few osteoderms and stuff popping up. Just like with the other one, we transition to a darker tone in the hands, this time a darker gray. You've got the very Jurassic Park raptor hands here, the scoots down the fingers, and then, of course, the claws sculpted out and painted really nicely with a black. As you move back up, you can see all of the detail looking really good. You can just kind of like see like creases and stuff that have been applied here and there as far as the sculpt goes. The musculature of the leg looks pretty nice as well. You can also see the top of the hip bone, the spinal column. Again, that striping following down through the course of the raptor. As you lead down into the legs, again, we transition to a darker tone for the feet. You've got the nice scoots down the toes, the claws and everything looking really nice. Again, painted with a black, and yes, you can see the dew claw over there. And then as you move out into the tail, you have a brief area of a darker gray that then transitions back to a lighter gray. So again, a little more variation of color to the figure as you lead out. You also again have that striping effect that follows along the course of the tail all the way out as it ends in a nice black tip for the tail. Obviously, you can see a little difference from side to side when it comes to the look, because this side, the raptor kind of has the one leg kind of held forward, and then this leg is also kind of held forward, but in the opposite direction. So it almost looks like the raptor was like walking, and then all of a sudden it just slammed on the brakes and heard something and turned its head back to kind of look and see what's going on back there. That's sort of my takeaway of that raptor. And then of course we have the base, which again has kind of like that cracked sort of concrete or stone look, again with the pegs there for the feet. And then the underside, again, Cretaceous Creations with the Velociraptor name up there. So pretty darn awesome set of Rebirth Raptors. As far as a size goes, these are some of the smaller Cretaceous Creations figures that I have now in my collection and have reviewed. Lengthwise, you're looking at about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. And then height-wise, the highest would be this one at about 3¼ inches or a little over 8 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Mueller, model doing in the Collect Day human being next to our Cretaceous Creations Rebirth Raptors, and you can see again that they are fairly small in the grand scheme of things and by no means are large figures. However, you can also see at the same time that they are by no means really small figures, because here are some minis next to them, and clearly they are significantly larger than standard minifigures. If you bring in a standard Mattel Velociraptor though, you can see that they are very clearly a bit smaller than a Mattel Raptor. And then one final comparison, and one that I was really looking forward to, we have the Mutodon from Cretaceous Creations as well, hunting our Velociraptors, and also showing you that the Raptors are kind of similar in size to the Mutodon figure. So these brand new Cretaceous Creations Jurassic World Rebirth Velociraptors are super cool. When it comes to stylized raptors, I think these are absolutely awesome because they do have a stylized look. Again, you know, the proportions are very chibi-like and everything, but they still have a very high quality look, and they don't look like childish. Like a lot of the Pop Funkos have like the look of like babies and stuff like that. They don't look all that impressive in the grand scheme of things, whereas these still have that kind of ferocious Velociraptor look, but in a very exaggerated sort of a way. So I really love that aspect of these figures. I also love the fact that they have created both variants of the Raptors from Rebirth. You know, you've got the standard version, which is, I would say, probably the more popular version, especially because it has some pretty flashy colors, which have been replicated really nicely in their version. But you also have the other version, and so far, nobody has released one of that figure. There is a Mattel version coming at some point. I remember seeing in one of the story packs, but so far that has not released to my knowledge. But it is nice to have one now, again, from Cretaceous Creations as well, and I think, again, that Raptor looks absolutely awesome also. I also love the poses. They display really nicely together, which is a huge plus. They look menacing, and again, there's just so much life applied to the figures, and the paintwork is super nicely done. It's very precise and very nicely thought out and applied. You know, like they really did a great job of coming up with the color schemes that you see on screen, but applying them in their own way and style. So overall, absolutely epic figures. If you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase these on the Cretaceous Creations store as always. So make sure you check those links, definitely pick these up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.